I'll be right there. Just want to be able to see the chat. So I had to go to my page on the computer. Hi there, everybody. I am Charlotte, the Gulf Coast Granny, and tonight we're going to do a little diamond painting. This is a painting of the world map, a world map. I am starting on the Asia side tonight. I have gotten about halfway across, maybe a little less than halfway. But I've done a lot of work on the other side so far. So I wanted to start on the other side because it's become quite cumbersome to be able to stretch across this painting and get some of it done. Let's see, where am I? There's my stuff. There's that. I worked on it just a little bit tonight. And I want to get across here. Let me pull my sleeves up a little bit. I've gotten this far with this one color, and I need to get all the way across. So let's start that. Hey, God's Desire, thank you so much for coming in. You know, I had so much fun talking about the garden earlier. Of course, I could talk about the garden all day, every day, to anybody who will listen to me. I get a little obsessed, but I think that a lot of garden people are that way. Correct me if you think I'm wrong. I don't have the music going tonight. Let me know if you think that I should turn it on. Because I will. It's just kind of enjoying the peace and quiet tonight. I got the tea made for the boy, finally. I can't believe I forgot it. I mean, we have one of those coffee makers that does the, it's not a Keurig, but it does a K-cup type setup. So what I usually do is I just put the water in the cup and put the tea bags in because, you know, it's really easy and fast. And I was out of water in the reservoir. So I added the water to the reservoir and walked away from it. And he came out here and said, Mom, did you make my tea? I was like, oh gosh, honey, I'm so sorry, I forgot. I said I got sidetracked. It's okay. Oh my gosh. I still have a hard time getting used to that grown up voice of his. Hello, Yellow, and I can't read your name, but thank you for coming in tonight. Um, I will never forget the first time I heard his voice like that. Or the first time I recognized that his voice had changed and gotten so deep. I was standing in the kitchen cooking dinner, and he had come home from school, and I heard the door open and shut, and I hollered, "Is that you?" And he said yes. And I was really into what I was doing, you know, when you're in the kitchen and you're just cooking and you're in the zone, right? And he came up behind me, goes, "Mom." And I'm like, "Who the crap is in my house?" I'm like, oh my God. It scared the ever loving daylights out of me. I jumped 12 feet in the air, give or take, and, and he just couldn't stop laughing. But at the time, he didn't quite understand that I thought it was a strange man in my house. But I'm thinking, what kind of strange man calls me mom? I mean, I do have adult sons, but still, they don't live here, you know. It was pretty funny. But now he's had his grown-up voice now for I don't know, maybe a year, year and a half, so I've kind of gotten used to it. He's going to the prom this weekend, and he's a really small kid. He only weighs 102 pounds, and he's very, very, he's a late bloomer, so to speak. And we went and got him a tux. And the funny thing about it, he is really small, but his arms are super, super long, right? Because, you know, that's the way teenagers grow. Their arms and legs grow before everything else does, you know. And so we go to get him this tuxedo. And look, it looks really nice on him. The only thing is, it's a little bit too big in the, not in the shoulders and not in the arms. The arms fit perfectly. But in the waist and chest area, to me, it just looks like he's trying to wear his dad's jacket, and I'm kind of upset about it because I really wanted, you know, him to look put together, and I mean, and it does. It, like I said, all together, it does look nice. Um, but I was just a little disappointed that it looked a bit big. But that was the smallest one that they had, where they could fix the sleeves to fit him so that it didn't look like he was wearing some little boy's jacket, you know. The rest of it looks pretty darned amazing, if you ask me. And I think he's going to be super handsome. He insisted on a red jacket. So the pants are black, and then it has the white tuxedo top, or, you know, shirt. And the jacket is red with black trim around it, and it really looks snazzy. I know, prom days, goodness. Yes, hearing someone's voice change drastically, it is shocking, especially when you're not prepared for it, you know. Um, but his cute little girlfriend, she has a red dress that is sequined all, I mean, everywhere. It's nothing but sequins. And it is gorgeous. And she looks amazing in it. The only the only thing is, you know, uh, she has a very skinny, skinny, athletic type body. And this is I want to say, it's a very adult looking dress. Hey, Jackie. Um, if it was my daughter, she probably would not have been allowed to buy this dress, but I don't get to control everybody's kids and really have no desire to do so. But when I saw the picture of the dress, I was like, oh my goodness. So here's what it reminds me of. Does anybody remember the movie Roger Rabbit? If you do, that's all I need to say. That's the dress. Um, and I thought it was really funny because I was talking to my daughter about this dress. And she said, I can't believe her parents are letting her wear this dress. And I said, well, it doesn't really matter a whole lot because it's not like the girls are going to be falling out. She hardly has any girls at all. not have been the nicest thing in the world to say, but it's true, you know. So I just find it kind of humorous that these kids go to prom and they think they're so grown up, and they really aren't. But it is a special day, you know. He's already made reservations to take her to dinner before the prom, and she's he's got the corsage on order. He picks that up Saturday afternoon. And I am really hoping that I told him, I said, the only thing that you have to do for prom is to make her feel like a princess. That's your job. I said, and if you make her feel like a princess, it'll be a great evening. I said, so you spoil her, because you know that's what little girls want on the for the prom. Every little girl that ever went to the prom wanted to feel like a princess. So I gave him a mission. He's on it. We'll see what happens. Yes, God's desire. It is a bit on the revealing side. And like I said, I was, if that had been my daughter, that would, she would not be walking out of my house dressed like that. Um, no, no. In fact, we just did the prom for Violet, what was it, 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago. And she wore a very Southern Belle looking dress. It had a huge skirt. I think there was like 5 layers of fabric underneath it. And it did have the, like a cold shoulder. It was off the shoulder a little bit, but it, like it had the cutouts. And yeah, it looked really nice on her, and it was very age appropriate for her, which is something I don't think that a lot of young people's parents think about anymore. And that's okay. I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to tell everybody what to do with their teenagers. I've already raised mine, and I got this last one to go, and then I'm done. And thank goodness he's a boy, in a way. Thank goodness. I think sometimes, though, we have to worry about our boys more than we do our girls. I'm on the website looking for all kinds of minis to order. She has quite a few. I have been ordering from Renee's Garden Seeds for probably 10 years or so. Um, some things worked out, some things didn't. But of course, a lot of, you know, I moved here 15 years ago, and when I first got here, the only thing I was really interested in growing were tomatoes. So I spent a lot of time just learning to grow tomatoes in the South. I mean, yes, we moved here from Virginia. Virginia is the South, technically, but no, it ain't. No, it ain't. Oh, you got the cucumber minis. Okay. So I had to learn through trial and error that some of the things that I ordered from that website were more geared towards, well, and I found this with a lot of different websites, not just Renee's Gardens. Um, like buying seeds from M.I. Gardner. I know you get some from there, Jackie. I won't buy seeds from M.I. Gardner. And it's not because I don't like him or anything like that. It's just that his seeds, a lot of them are varieties that are grown up north, and they don't do so great here. Or the that's not true. They only do great at certain times of the year here. And a lot of times the directions on the back of the package are not for a southern garden in zone 9. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So it took me a long time to figure out that when it says plant April through June, what they really mean for my zone is plant January through through March. Am I making any sense? But I do like her seeds. I've never had a problem with germination or anything like that. Um, Everything I've ever planted grew. Did it thrive? Not always, but that could have been my fault too, you know. Because gardening is a whole bunch of trial and error, isn't it? Oh, I added the what do you call it? The baby watermelons. Let me see if I still have her up here. Oh yeah, I do. I do. Let's see. Where'd it go? Well, fiddlesticks. I thought I put them in my cart. Okay, what am I doing? There it is. Personal size watermelons called Mini Love. And they're 3 or 4 pounds a piece. And I'm thinking about doing those on a trellis in a grow bag. I'm not sure if it'll work, but it's worth using 2 or 3 seeds and finding out, right? And if it doesn't, because a lot of melon plants, they really like to sprawl along the ground because they put down roots, and that helps them produce more melons. And it gives them more nutrients and all of that stuff. Um, so there's that. So I don't know if growing along a trellis is the best idea for watermelons, but we're going to find out. I've seen people do it before, so I know it can be done. But just because something can be done, dot, 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 doesn't mean it should be done. Like me trying to grow those enormous candy roaster squash. Should I do it? Probably not. I only have, you know, a certain amount of space. But if they succeed, I'm going to have a mess of squash to last me all winter. So I'm kind of happy about that. At least for right now. I told somebody today that gardening is, in the beginning, is full of hopes and dreams and prayers. Um, and then reality sets in. So when the reality of the situation becomes apparent, then you just deal with what you've got. If it's a success, great. If it's not, well, you learn something. At least that's my theory. Um, they, I've seen people do it. My melons were not having any part of it. They wanted to be free range melons. With the candy roasters, they'll be fine with the arches. They will grow on that happily. Well, I have the candy roast. The candy roasters are actually on the trellis in the back of the garden. It's 6 feet tall, and this weekend we're going to work on the arbor portion of it. So I think the candy roasters will be fine because they're going to have a good, oh gosh. I mean, really, if they wanted to climb along the top of the arbor, they would have 24 feet to grow. Oh, she sold out of the baby cucumbers. That's unfortunate. It's okay. Wait till next year. Or give it 6 weeks, and I bet she'll be back in stock. And you can grow them for fall. Of course, I never have really a lot of luck growing cucumbers in the fall, but different climates, you know. We have a lot of pest pressure here in the fall. Lots. Even more so than we do now. You know, tonight I was out in the garden. Well, it wasn't really nighttime. It was probably an hour from dark. And I was showing Poppy some stuff that was coming up in the garden. And we were out there talking about what we wanted to do this weekend and discussing the chances of rain, etc. And the mosquitoes were buzzing around my eyeglasses, y'all. I cover myself from head to toe when I go out in the garden. And so I had my gloves on, I had my long sleeve shirt on, I had my long pants. And they were buzzing around my eyeglasses trying to eat my face off. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that they would enjoy the arbor. I am half tempted to move the tromboncino squash. That's where the arches are on the tromboncino squash. And I was half tempted to move them over to where the arbor is. But, you know, squash don't like their roots disturbed. So I think I'm just going to leave them there. Let them grow on that. I have two of each. I have two of the tromboncino and I have two of the candy roasters. But y'all, I went green bean crazy. I was just putting beans in every spare hole that I could find out there in the garden. So when they all started coming up, I guess it was in the last few days, I went out there yesterday and counted them. And so far I have 119 bush beans growing. That's not including the pole beans that I have. And I have about, oh gosh, 25 pole beans. I'm going to have beans coming out of my ears. Absolutely out of my ears. And the funniest part of that is I'm not a huge fan of green beans. Now, Poppy likes them, but they're not my favorite. However, I do like the way Cracker Barrel makes them. I could put some ham in there and some potatoes. Now, I do like them that way too. Some little new potatoes with some bacon or ham hocks. Oh gosh, that sounds delicious. But if I'm eating low carb, I'm going to have to minimize that tremendously. Maybe I'll eat one potato. I cover myself as well when I'm in the garden. Yeah, you got to. Well, and for whatever reason, I'm really allergic to the mosquito bite. Well, I don't know if allergic is the right word or if sensitive is the right word. But they swell up like this big. And they get really hard and fevered. They'll stay like that for about 2 or 3 days and then they go away. And they itch so bad. So bad. Hydrocortisone cream is my friend in the summertime. You'll see one of these days, weekends, when I'm doing a live stream on a Saturday night, you will see one of my eyes swollen shut, or a great big lump on my forehead, or on the side of my neck, and it'll be because a mosquito bit me. It's happened every year. And people are like, "What'd you do to yourself?" I'm like, "Well, I didn't do anything. It was that darn mosquito." Okay. This feels too far away. Y'all, one of my cats, you know Birdie, the one that comes up here and always wants to be sitting in my lap when I'm crafting, she's discovered that she can get into the bathroom cabinet under the sink in the bathroom. And now I don't keep a lot of stuff in there. I keep my hair dryer and, just typical bathroom stuff, extra rolls of tissue paper and things like that. Do you know, for the past week, every time I go in the bathroom, the cat has pulled something out into the floor. She doesn't play with it. She doesn't beat it up. She doesn't do anything that she can grab with her mouth and pull out into the floor. She does. How crazy is that? I think she wants it emptied. She's trying to make it her new home. And she wants all that stuff moved out of her way so that she can call that her little house. So I told Poppy, I said, I think what we should do is go buy her own little cabinet that she can escape to, and maybe put it in the living room. Or maybe in the bedroom, somewhere. No, 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 she is not. She's been fixed. All of my cats have been fixed. All of my animals are fixed. No, 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 no. That is the last thing we need in this house. And I know that they do that when they're having kittens. They want to go hide somewhere. But nope, not my cats. All of their plumbing is removed. Mm, 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 mm. Mm. Is that the right spot? Yeah. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. Happens a lot. I got my kitchen all cleaned up today. And I got some laundry done today. And I think before I go to bed, I am going to mop my kitchen floor. Because, ew. I was looking at it today. I said, I cannot believe this floor always looks so dirty to me. And right now it is dirty because, animals and kids and, yeah, me being lazy. Um, but even after it's mopped, it's that kind of tile that always looks like it could use a scrub. And I can't stand it. So I told Poppy that if we do buy this place, that's going to be the first thing to go is this floor. I want to get tile or actually, what I would really like to do is just get laminate that looks like wood and put it throughout the entire house. Even rolled linoleum. Shoot, I wouldn't care. I want something that's easy to take care of and that doesn't always look dirty. Of course, it could just be, you know, I have a little bit of a perfectionist streak, so it could just be that making me think it looks worse than it does. God's Desire, you said that you could buy Renee's garden seeds locally where you live, which I think is really amazing. I have looked for them and looked for them here and when I lived in Virginia, and I couldn't find them anywhere. Um, but I think you have to apply to be a retailer of, you know, of her seeds. Or, look, I know it's a big company, and I say her, but that's because it's her name. Um, but I do. I think you have to apply to be a retailer for them. And some places want to carry it, and some places just don't. And I guess I've never come across a place that really, you know, that either knew about or wanted to carry it. But I do like the way that her company, that company, kind of caters to the small gardener. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, I should. I think I want to figure out how to do that Nightbot thing. I think it would be fun to be able to check the weather, you know, and I think it helps a little bit with engagement with your audience too. You could tell people to do the thing and then, you know, respond. I don't know what all is available, but I like the weather aspect of it definitely. I don't like the part where it greets everybody that comes in though. Because I mean, like, that's my job, right? Oh, you forgot to plant rutabagas. You can plant rutabagas this time of year? Hmm. I can't plant those till about August. End of August, actually. Of course, now, because that's when I plant my fall stuff. I've never tried to plant rutabagas any other time. So you don't have to have Nightbot to do that. He only does what you set him up to do. Oh, well, shoo, I didn't know that. Oh, well. See, I'm not computer smart enough to figure all that out, Jackie. I mean, I if somebody teaches me, I can do it. But to figure it all out on my own and just kind of have that, I'm not quite that savvy. When it comes to technology. In fact, it's really overwhelming for me. And I get super, super stressed out when I'm trying to figure things out on my own. Poppy has to do a lot of that stuff for me, or at least, show me what to do. Now, once I learn it, it's learned. I have him do that in case somebody comes in and I miss them. Hopefully, I will catch it. Oh, now that's good thinking. I didn't even think about that aspect of it. But yeah, if you see him, your Nightbot, doing a thing, you're going to look. And then you might not miss a person that come. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you know how scatterbrained I can be. And then get off into this diamond painting and forget the whole world exists. Yeah, that might be a helpful thing to have now that I think about it. Because I do have a tendency to get lost in my projects. Wow, I can't believe. See, look, Jackie, I have done all the way from the bottom to the top in one color since I started diamond painting on your live stream. And I didn't start till you were almost finished, really. Maybe 30 minutes from the end. And you know what? There is such a delay sometimes on the YouTube app, I guess, that I was trying to type something in your chat earlier and it just completely went black and told me it was not available. And I'm like, wait a minute, I was just listening to her. And then I went back and looked, and yep, you're done already. Well, that was when I was trying to make up for Murphy's tea incident where I forgot to make his tea. And I was making his tea and got, into that and went back to type something. Gone. Just gone. I'm like, well, crud, I didn't even get to listen to the end of it. Okay. Have y'all grown saffron? I have not. Hey, Lori Stories. Looks like you're almost done. No, Lori, I'm not. I'm not. I just started from the other end because it was getting hard to reach across and to roll it up to have, well, you if you saw my setup here, you would understand, but it was just getting more cumbersome to reach across. So I decided to start from this end and move forward. So I'm at Asia now in Australia and I'm moving that way now. I got as far as I finished Greenland and I'm about to run into Africa on the other side of the world there. But no, I have not grown saffron. I think it would be really, really cool to grow some saffron. Oh, what are those flowers called? Darn, crocuses. Croci. Crocuses. What is the plural? Maybe it's just one crocus. Maybe it's just crocus for everything. Um, I hear that it's a very valuable crop. Very valuable. Oh. I was going to tell you. Remember, I told you that last night I was looking at grapes. Well, while I was on a live stream with you, Poppy was looking at grapes that might grow here. Um, bunching grapes or bunches of grapes, not just muscadines or wine-making grapes. And I guess they call them table grapes, the kind you just eat for snacking. And there are a couple of varieties. One of the main problems with growing grapes where I live is something called Pierce's disease. Apparently, it is spread by insects that want to chew on your grapes, and that's how the disease spreads. And it is extremely common in this area, and it takes out most grapes that are not resistant to it. So, I mean, you don't want to spend all that money on grapes and all the trellising and, everything you got to do. Put all your hopes and dreams into this crop that just dies from a bug. But the university, well, that's not true. Hang on. Mississippi State University has developed a couple of varieties where they are resistant to Pierce's disease. So I may try to find some of those. I'm not going to do it this year though. Um, I'm going to wait until next year and just pray that I live long enough to get some grapes. I mean, I don't know anything you don't know. Let's put it that way. Um, but nobody's promised tomorrow. That's all I mean by that. Um, but yeah, I thought I would look into that. And also, I learned too, I didn't know this, but I can grow hazelnuts here. And I'm really thinking about getting a few hazelnut bushes and putting them in the backyard to use as a hedge um, along the fence line to maybe block out some neighbors and noise and things like that. And it is a deciduous hedge, so it would lose leaves in the fall, but our fall isn't that long. Our whole winter season is not so long that it would be a problem. I don't like it when we get down to just a little bit of beads because for whatever reason, it makes it harder to pick them up. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okie dokie. Lori, how far have you gotten on your blanket? I cannot wait to see that thing. Gosh. Where did you find the pattern for something like that? Was it on Etsy or did you just wing it yourself? How did you go about that? Because if you bought it somewhere, I might need that the link to that sent to my email address. Not that I'm that great with finishing blankets, as we all know. Yeah, it's kind of, it makes you irritated. You can't pick them up as easily. And then who wants to keep shaking it over and over again just to turn one bead upside down? So just fill it up. Just fill that sucker up. So this weekend, I'm going to fill up the last garden bed inside the fenced area of my new garden. And I've decided that I'm saving it strictly for flowers. My zinnias, my sunflowers, and that's about it. I might put some marigolds in there. I prefer to put those in the beds with the vegetables, though. I'm almost done with Africa, Asia, and South America. Done with Australia and Antarctica. Very nice. I saw a cartoon picture like it and put it in Stitch Fiddle and made it more realistic. Added Antarctica too. When I'm done, I'll make a link to the graph available through YouTube. Lori, that is incredible. So is it all single crochets? And it's just like a graph gan? Is that what they call it? I've never done one before. Probably shouldn't start with something that quite that difficult, huh? I should be, but here I am continuing to add things to your card. That's funny, Jackie. I'm done buying plants for this year. I think I'm maxed out. You know, God's desire, I'm just about there too. Just about. Once I get all these baby plants from Renee's seeds, and I also want to buy. I don't have to do it now, but I probably will. I like to get my zinnia seeds from Swallowtail Seeds. Let me see. Where's my link? Let's see. Swallowtailgardenseeds.com. They have a huge variety, and I've been getting them from there for probably a decade or more. Um, and that, like I said, that I need to, what I need to do is buy replacements for the ones I'm going to be using this year because I'm running really low on zinnia seeds. And I know you can save your seeds, but I don't know if some of these are hybrids or what. I don't know how that works. I want to buy some seeds, darn it. I want to buy seeds. Guys, I'm going to be right back. I have to run to the ladies' room. It's corner to corner graph game. Okay, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Be right back. Okay, I know y'all thought I was playing with you, but look what I just found in the floor of the bathroom. This was under the sink. No kidding. Every time I go in there, it's something else. The only way I could prove it any better is if I took you in there with me, and I can't do that, you know? That's just not appropriate. Definitely start with something easier with that many color changes. But I've done a ton of corner to corner tips and tricks using that mat blanket. No kidding. Huh. Do you know I've never done a corner to corner blanket in my life? I've never even done a corner to corner washcloth. You have I'm going to go look at it. I'm taking that thing to bed with me tonight. Because it takes me hours to fall asleep anyway. And I need something to watch, darn it. You watch. I'll take that thing in there with me. I'll listen to it for 15 minutes. And then I'll get up and start doing this stuff. You watch. That's exactly what'll happen. Okay. Lori, I'm giving you a wrench. There you go. There's a great starter corner to corner washcloth on Wow Crochet Design. You know what? I need to write that down. You know, I've been crocheting for a very, very long time. And I think what happened in my crochet adventures is that I got very comfortable with doing the same kind of stuff all the time. And I never really ventured past what I was comfortable with. And I'm really happy that I've met all of you because it's really encouraged me and I've encouraged myself to kind of push myself a little bit and step outside of my comfort zone. Um, wow, Crochet Designs. And I've learned too that I can crochet just about anything I want to. Um, I need some mullein to relieve this congestion. Can't believe I got sick after I went to the doctor's. Oh, I can believe it, God's desire. I certainly can. I think my long break from crochet caused me to just try everything with no inhibitions. And yeah, and I think that that can have, because you know, I would do little projects here and there, but I wasn't crocheting all the time until I started doing it on YouTube again. And that's only been since I met Jackie, what, in November? I would watch crochet channels, but I never did it myself on my channel. So, but it really has, I think it's been a good thing, a really good thing. This diamond painting is so big that I feel like I'm stretching from California to Florida just to get one row done. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream Islands. This land was made for you and me. I think I've got a handicap. Nope, maybe not. When my drills are a little deformed, I call them handicap drills. Little special needs students here. God love them. I use them anyway because I'm afraid I'll run out. I haven't run out of drills yet, and I've been very fortunate in that so far every one that I've done has had more than enough drills. Now, I did speak to somebody not long ago who is having to wait for the company to send them replacement drills because for whatever reason they were left out. The color that they needed was left out. Um, it tastes horrible, but they work. It's at Whole Foods or Natural Groceries, or you can probably get it online. I've never heard of that either. I can't seem to put these needles down. I just want to keep going project. Well, isn't that a new project for you? The wait a minute. Yeah, cuz you just taught yourself to knit. Of course you want to keep going and keep going. God's desire, one of these days I'm going to come to your house and visit you. And you're going to teach me how to knit, right? I think we all should get together and have a crochet circle somewhere. That's what I think. Like a crochet meetup kind of thing. Just sit around gabbing and crocheting in some cozy hotel or B&B or something like that. You don't want to learn from me? Look, at this point, I'll learn from anybody. Doesn't matter. I think you would be a great person to learn from because You would not get frustrated with me making a bunch of mistakes because you were just there yourself, right? Okay, let's see. Where's my. I forgot where I'm at, y'all. Okay. 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 Copy. There we go. Oh, no, 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 no. There. A coworker, when I was still teaching, introduced it to me. I was amazed at how well it worked, but I'm not joking about the taste, like grass and dirt. Ugh. Ew, 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 ew. I just realized it is 1:30 in the morning. I must go to sleep. Have a wonderful and blessed day. You too, my dear, and I hope you sleep well. I bet you'll be sleeping in late tomorrow. Come back tomorrow and tell us how much work you got done. Because I know she'll probably be in that garden all day tomorrow. Y'all, I can't do that anymore. I used to be able to do it. There is no way I could. I don't have the kind of stamina that I used to have. And the hotter it gets, the worse it gets. But you know what's funny? I can still run circles around my kids. Yeah, it's not normal for you to be up this late. Izzy, where have you been? Have you been here a while? Why does no one sell us an extended warranty on our bodies for I do not know, Lori. We need it though, don't we? We certainly do. Of course, you know they just be calling us all the time, harassing us, telling us our warranty's about to expire. You know, actually, I think mine didn't hit till Excuse me. About 55, I started noticing that I just couldn't do as much for as long. Or I would pay for it so bad the next day that it wasn't worth it, kind of thing, you know? So now I just try to pace myself. You had a partial knee replacement at 52. Oh my goodness. You know, Poppy, my husband is about to have one of those, I think. But his will be a whole knee replacement. Um, but he also has a crippling arthritic condition. He had to have a total hip replacement at 37 because of his arthritis. I call it arthritis. It's ankylosing spondylitis, but nobody knows what that is, so I call it arthritic. You know, it's an autoimmune disease. Um, it's kind of like rheumatoid arthritis, sort of. He's in pain every day. And he's the most remarkable person I've ever known because he gets up, he goes to work, he never complains. He just does what he has to do. He doesn't. It's pretty impressive, actually. I don't think I would. I don't think I could be like that if I were afflicted with the same thing that he's got. I might have to take a few days and just feel sorry for myself for a little while. Then again, that's just the difference in people, though, you know. I would like to think that I would get all the things done that I need to do, but listen to this. I don't want to hear your commercial. How you like that? No, I don't want to give it a try. So there. That's not the right. Nope. We're not doing that. Okay. I don't like that. I've got to stop trying other copyright free video sites other than the one that I've picked out for myself. I've been trying other ones and that gets me in trouble. And then I have to revenue share with people that I don't even know. And I mean, not that I make a whole lot of money on a live stream, for goodness sakes. Maybe it might be 12 cents, but still. My 12 cents, darn it. And I don't want to risk getting a strike either because I've never had one and I don't intend to start now. So I got to go with the more safe options and quit being experimental. What'll happen is the stream will end or something will end and then it'll move on to another video and you don't realize it. So that's the part that's scary. What I like to do is get on these ones that, what am I trying to say? That go for like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. Some of them are 12 hours. Um, and that way you don't really have to worry about it flipping around to different creators. Because that's how they get you. He is. He is, Lori. He's a pretty remarkable individual. Yours is osteoarthritis, the least awful of the. Well, it's still painful. Still very painful. I have it in my thumbs and in my shoulder and in my right ankle. And it's like you said, osteoarthritis. But I'll tell you this. Well, one of them is from an injury. The ankle one is, I call it my old war wound. It's not. I was in a car accident when I was 16, broke my leg in 4 places, and had a compound fracture of my ankle. And it took a really long time to put back together and heal, but it did. Now that I'm older, it sometimes decides that it doesn't want to bend. Imagine that. Um, but the doctor told me it was all, there's a lot of scar tissue and arthritis in it, so. But I'm not getting an ankle replacement. I don't think they do a good enough job on them. Not yet. When they can make me a robot ankle, I'll take one. But until then, it'll probably be more trouble than it's worth to even try to, get it fixed. All right, so I did not want to flip that piece of paper over, but I'm going to quit with this color because it's boring me now. There we go. Let's do some eyes. That's not eye. Yes, it is. 60. Oh, no. 09. Eye. Got it. I find myself sometimes wondering if anybody knows what I'm talking about when I say, oh, I'm going to do the eyes now. Because if you don't diamond paint, you don't have a clue what an eye stands for. You know? I find that a little bit on the humorous side. Yeah, Lori, I was really lucky to find that one. My husband, I mean. I had to kiss a whole bunch of toads before I got to him. Okay, I say a whole bunch like it was an entire town, but it was not an entire town. Close, but close. I will say I did not need to be rescued when I found him, but he was definitely a breath of fresh air. I'll never forget. He was so polite and so respectful. And I remember looking at him going, what planet are you from? Because, I was 35 and had a bunch of kids, and um, I wasn't used to being treated like a princess, put it that way. I had put myself through a whole bunch of misery by putting up with too much nonsense in my life up until that point. And I just wasn't used to people like him. And I found out there were people like him in the world, and boy, it was nice. It's really nice. You know that feeling? Yeah. Well, when you get older too, you I think you understand that marriage and commitment doesn't mean the same thing when you're 20 as it does when you're 60 or 50 or 40. You know, it takes on a different um, definition. I don't need butterflies in my tummy every time I see somebody. What I need is food on the table and not have to worry about whether or not I'm safe or my children are taken care of. Exactly how I feel about my husband. He's from the UK originally. I was in my early 40s when I met him. Yeah, yeah. Isn't it funny how things change as you grow up? And I want to say get wiser, or maybe it's just that life beats us up and we realize what's important. I don't know. All of the above, maybe. Well, and I don't think life just takes its opportunity to beat us up. I'm a firm believer that we create our own misery 99% of the time, and that our choices are responsible for what comes next in most cases. I don't think it's like that 100% of the time, but in most cases. Lori, mine was too. He was a good dad, but a terrible husband. For me, he was a terrible husband for me. He made somebody else a great husband, and I'm happy for him. But he was not a great husband for me. Of course, we were very young when we met each other, and, you know, all of that. Young and God, I was a very, very selfish young person. And I was vain and I was self-centered, and I mean, I'll just call it like it is. I know who I am and who I was. But we live and we learn. He's always their dad, so very grateful that my daughters have two good parents. Right, right. Well, and my oldest daughter, she asked my husband to walk her down the aisle and give her away when she got married. She didn't ask her own father to do that. Of course, that wasn't my first husband either, so whoops. They communicated by check, and she decided that she wanted her stepdad to do it, and he did, and he was happy to do it, you know. And if the truth be known, I was happy to have him do it too. She was 30 when she got married. I was tired of it. I was tired. She was his problem after that. I'm teasing and you know it. I hope you know it. I think out of all of my kids, she was one of the most difficult, though. And I think a lot of the reason is because I was young when I had her. I was very young. I was 20 years old. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was just doing my best and, you know, trying to make it in the world. Trying to drag her along with me. Thank God I got better at being a parent as I got older. Ooh. Had a wonderful stepmom, but briefly had a terrible stepdad. Oh no, my stepmom and mom were practically best friends. My parents were better friends than partners. I'll be. I think that, I mean, I'm not friends with my ex husband. Not like we don't hang out or anything, and we don't, he lives in another state. But I was always very proud of the way that we co parented our kids. Um, and I think my kids are happy with it too. My kids, they know that I don't harbor any ill feelings about their dad. In fact, I defend him a lot. When they, call me and say blah, blah, blah about their dad. And I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. In fact, I'll tell you something that's not quite private. My daughter, had surgery last week. And when she called me to tell me about it, she said, I don't think I want to tell Dad. I said, I don't think you're doing the right thing if you decide to do that. I said, you need to give your dad the choice of whether or not to come here for your surgery or not. I said, I know you don't, she's never had kids. And I said, I know you don't understand this, but when your child is in a situation that is potentially harmful or dangerous, a parent wants to be there. She said, well, I don't want him here. I said, well, then you make the same deal with him that you made with me. And what she said to me was, Mom, please don't come to the hospital when I have my surgery. And I said, well, that's not an option for me, but I'll make a deal with you. I will go and sit in the waiting room until they tell me that you're finished. And if you would like to see me after that, then I will stay. But I will not let you see me before you go back there. And she said she agreed to that. And I said, you need to give your dad the same option because he is a parent. He loves you and he's going to want to know. And so she did. She gave him the option. She told him what she thought about it. And, that she didn't necessarily want him to come. And he respected her wishes and stayed at home. But now, as soon as she was finished with surgery, her husband called her dad and told him that she was okay. And that's what we do. Just the common events like the weddings and the graduations and that kind of thing. We can talk to each other and be nice and not embarrass our kids. In fact, we just had a grandbaby in December, and back in November ended up going to the baby shower. My family was there, my husband, my kids that live at home with me, and he had him and his wife and her couple of her kids were there. Her adult children were there, and we all got along just fine. But that's how it's supposed to be, I think. Unless ugly stuff has happened. Like, and when I say ugly, I mean illegal, abusive stuff. I think if there's illegal or abusive stuff, then all bets are off. I would not even expose myself to that. But, as far as being around that person again, I would choose to opt out of that. Oh boy. Well, I think I have conquered the I's. Maybe I'll just do a couple more here and then we'll move on to the V's. Okay, that's what I'll do. It's so funny when I get when I pull this thing out to work on, I usually end up working on it for hours upon hours. And I end up, I'll get off of the internet and I'll sit here and say, just another more section, just one more little section, just one more little, until it's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm not doing that tonight. Don't, y'all throw me under the bus if I do that tonight. I don't want to do that. I've been trying to go to bed by 2. I know I started off wanting to go to bed by midnight, but I don't think that's in my personality. I don't think it's in my DNA to go to bed before midnight. I mean, around midnight. Between 1:30 and 2 usually does it for me. And I can still get up the next morning and do all the things I've got to do. But ever since my son came down with the flu, I haven't really had to do much. Give him his medicine, make sure he gets something to eat, because he won't if I don't make sure of it. And that's pretty much it. Taking Gatorade when he wants it, little stuff like that. I have been owning all day today to try to get some of his schoolwork done because, you know, that everything's on the computer now. So when they stay at home, they have access to whatever work that the rest of the class is doing. So I've been on him about that. But today he wasn't running a fever today, but he still felt really bad, congested and tired. And I think that's the biggest part of it is the energy. His energy level is just in the toilet. I guess that's what the flu does to you. I haven't had it in so many years. I can't remember the last time I had the flu, actually. Probably when I lived in Virginia. Hi, Lydia. How are you doing tonight? You're up awfully late. I'm just a diamond painting fool tonight, Lydia. Faster than a speeding bullet. Is your hand hurting you bad enough that you can't sleep? You don't have to work tomorrow, do you? Yeah, I just took my pain meds. I work tonight at 4 to 7. Oh, well, then you can go to sleep a little later and then not be too tired for work. That's what I was wondering, if you were going to be have to get up early, you know, to go to work. I know sometimes Poppy flip flops all night long from his arthritis, and he has to be up at 5:30 to go to work, and he has the worst days when that happens because he's just so tired, you know. Lydia, what do you do for work, honey? If that's private, you don't have to tell me. I'm just making conversation. Hey, Dwayne, how are you doing tonight? Thanks for coming in. What are you doing up so late? Are you always up late? Thank you. You know, I've done the other half, and I just started on this end tonight. I decided to just flip it over and start from this way and meet in the middle, basically. So this end doesn't have a lot going on right now, except I'm just working on the background, till we get further in. I do like the way it's turning out too. I wish I could show you more of it, but it's just, the constraints of this darn screen. This is a really big diamond painting. It's really big. It's 20 inches by 30 inches. And it just won't fit on this vertical live stream. But when it's all done, I'm going to give you a wide angle view of it. What's your weather like up there, Dwayne? You getting any warmer yet? Oh, is it warm? Good. Um, you know what this reminds me of, Dwayne? Beadwork is more intense than this. Beadwork involves needles and counting and excuse me, and a lot of that. This is so much simpler. This reminds me of a combination of paint by numbers and cross stitch. Like cross stitch that's already printed for you. Because, there's counted cross stitch, and then there's the kind that's the easy kind. And this is the easy kind. It's really a somewhat mindless activity, and that's, I think, why I enjoy it so much. Because I can just lose myself in it. Like when I crochet, I have to kind of pay attention to what I'm doing. This, I really don't. Even though, you have to look for the symbols that matches to the color. But once you do a few of them, it's almost a robotic motion. In fact, I told Poppy the other day, he was commenting about how pretty it looked. I said, honey, I didn't do anything special. I said, somebody else designed this. All I'm doing is putting the colors on. I said, a trained monkey could do it. But I don't think that's the point of this craft. I think the point of this craft really is to lose yourself in it. That's what I think. That's just my one person's opinion. It is very, very, very relaxing. And that repetitive motion is somewhat soothing. Is that the right word? Hey, Mona, what's up, my friend? That's what it is. What do you think, Mona? Do you think that this repetitive motion and doing this is a soothing action? Do you think that's why people get kind of addicted to it, or enjoy it so much, I should say. Are you enjoying your trip, my dear? Didn't you just get there today or yesterday? Was it? I know I saw the video of uh, Jessica driving to the airport, but I can't remember if I saw it this morning or if that was yesterday. Yeah, and you do. You get a really nice final project that you can be proud of, and it's a sense of accomplishment. You got there yesterday. Good. I'm so glad you're having a good time. So, when does the Fiber Festival start? Tomorrow? I admire people who do crafts, including painting, pottery, and works in other. Oh, yeah, me too. I do too. In fact, one of these days I'd like to do some pottery, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Pottery's kind of expensive. I'm not in the market to spend a lot of money right now. That's why I like these too. Dwayne, these are fairly inexpensive hobby. This particular hobby can be as inexpensive as you want it to be. It can also be as expensive as you want it to be. So there's something for everyone, you know? And that's what I like about it. This one here is the second most expensive one I've ever bought, and it was $20. And that is not a lot for days and days and days of um, enjoyment. I don't know why, Mona. Do you think it might be your connection? What's it saying? Is it saying anything to you? Pottery goes back to the ancient days, yes. But long ago it was out of necessity. That's right. But it's just so darn pretty. It's come a long way since the days of necessity, I think. Of course, there's a place in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, called the Alewind Pottery. And they do a lot of very primitive, they do a lot of primitive work. And I really like it. And maybe it's the primitive nature of it that I do like. Mona said she just paid $10 for the one she bought tonight. I don't know. I thought you ended, or no, I didn't end. I was on, well, no. Oh, I went to the bathroom, Mona. I did go to the bathroom earlier. I didn't end it though. These are people who are able to take a piece of wood they find and carve something nice out of it. Oh, you know what? I really admire people who can do woodworking like that. And sculpture. Yeah, yeah. I think woodworking is beautiful, but I don't think I have I would never have the skill to do something like that. Because I don't see things in 3D like that. I can draw a picture, I can do crochet, um, but when it comes to 3D, I'm a little challenged in that department. And I can't see. If I walk into a room, yeah, you are only limited by your imagination. But if I walk into a room, like let's say I'm shopping for a house and it's an old beat up house, but it's got good bones, I can see in my mind what that room's going to look like if I get a hold of it. I can just look around the room and go, well, that would look good there, and something would look nice. What about wallpaper? What about no wallpaper? What about a paint color? What about this? I can do that. But when it comes to making an elephant out of clay, like Play Doh with my grandson, he always wants me to make dinosaurs. I do my best. I make a round thing for his body, and I make a round thing for his head, and I roll out a tail for his tail. And that's about all I can do. But here's the cool thing, he thinks it's a dinosaur, okay? He thinks it's a dinosaur. It don't look much like nothing, but he is happy because Granny made him a dinosaur. So that just proves to me that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Now, I can draw him a dinosaur much better than I can build him one with clay. And my granny taught me to paint when I was young, and I do okay with painting. I'm not a master for by any stretch of the imagination, but I enjoy doing it, and I can make something that looks presentable. Um, One thing I'd really like to learn to do is watercolor paint. I can paint with oils and acrylics, but watercolor's a challenge. I always end up making mud. But I think the reason for that is because I have not practiced enough with the actual technique to keep the colors separate instead of, running together and looking like mud. I think if I were to practice, I would get better at it. I can't draw or paint so well, but I'm good at photography. And that is an art too, because you capture things that other folks don't see. Even watercolor paints can be yes, they can. Oil and acrylic paints are pricier. Yeah, definitely. I like the old painters. There are paintings that remind me of photographs because they look so, oh gosh. Have you seen the one of the people doing eyes and making them look like a real eyeball? That always fascinates me because I'm not good with drawing faces. I can draw other things, still lifes. Um, I can draw bodies, but not faces. And so I always am very intrigued when I see people doing that. And it's all just a matter of proportion. Kind of like putting a photo together. Proportion. You're good at writing. I told one of my siblings that I lack the ability to draw and paint like you all can. They told me that I can do things with a camera that we can't. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wow, that got loud all of a sudden. Like there's people out there who play the piano, and like me, all they can do is play the piano. They know the chords, they know the notes, they can put their fingers on the right keys. But there's other people out there that make it sing. I'm not one that can make it sing. I think that had I learned when I was young, I might have been able to do that. But I had to learn when I was an adult, and it just never clicked. You like drumming and percussion? Even the old painters of historical figures like U.S. presidents. Yeah, definitely cool. Definitely. Look, before my daughter started playing the marimba, I didn't even know what a marimba was. I didn't realize it was a percussion instrument. And when I first heard her play it, she was very new at it. And I wasn't real impressed. And I kept telling her, what do you like about this instrument? You know? And at the time, she didn't know. She just liked it. And by the time she was finished, I've never seen anybody who could make a percussion instrument bring out emotions in people like she could. It was really rather remarkable. Her ability to play that particular instrument. But now she's the kind of person that can pick up any instrument and fiddle with it for a little while, and she knows what to do with it. I saw her pick up a French horn one time and play the thing. Never played a French horn in her life. I couldn't believe it. And she taught herself how to play ukulele during COVID. And she also taught herself to speak Norwegian. Yeah, marimba is used in jazz, and it's a cool instrument. I'm glad that I got to experience it through her eyes. There are prodigies who can play numerous instruments. Yeah. Hey, Jane Doe, what are you doing up so late, my dear? It might not be as late as I think it is, though. It feels like it's 3 in the morning. Well, it's 1:30. We're close. The musical ability is a paternal thing. Oh, is it? You mean in your family? Yay, go night owls! Go night owls. I think my bad sleeping habits are back. I knew it wasn't going to last for long. You know, the good sleep schedule. But I'm happy that I had it for a little while. And actually, this time around, I'm not too bothered by it right now. So, Mona, I planted some squash the other day called Honey Baby. And what it is a miniature butternut squash vine that only grows to about 3 to 4 feet long. And it puts out 5 or 6 squash per vine. And I'm really excited to see if I get any squash off of it. I mean, chances are I'll get something, right? It is also resistant to the vine boring bugs, like butternut squash is. So we'll see what happens. I put them in my 25-gallon grow bags. I put 2 in one and 3 in the other. And they're up against the fence in the garden so they can use the fence as the trellis. And I thought about buying a grapevine so I could have some table grapes. I don't need to make wine. I don't even, you know, I'm not good. I'll buy it. I'm not gonna make it. I will buy that. And come to find out, table grapes don't do so well down here in the South because of something called Pierce's disease. And it's spread by insects that the ones that pierce the skin and suck the juice out, those kind of bugs. They call them sharp something. Anyhow, it's very difficult to avoid that disease down here in the South. I just learned about it today. And I'm glad I didn't spend all that money on grape plants. But I did find out that really the only grapes that do well down this far south in this heat and humidity and all the insect pressure is a muscadine. Well, I don't like muscadines. I ain't never liked a muscadine grape. I hate them. I don't like the flavor. Blech. So I guess I'm not going to have grapes unless I buy them. I did read that the Mississippi State University has developed a couple of varieties of table grapes that might be resistant to this Pierce's disease. And I'm thinking about maybe buying some, but not this year. I think I'm going to give my garden a chance to do what it's going to do this year. And then I'll try maybe next year to do that. Send me some seeds when you harvest. I will, but I don't know if it's a hybrid or not. Let me read the thing. Oh, fiddlesticks, it's not there. I'm still here. I'm looking for seeds. Oh. Let's see. Here they are, right here. It's an F1 hybrid. And it takes 90 days. And I've got... Why don't I just send you what I've got? Because I don't need any more. You want a candy roaster squash to go with it? I can send some of these. I'm going to have to get some of those little baggies so I can label it. Fiddlesticks. Well, me and Jackie were shopping tonight at Renee's Garden Seeds, and we found out that she's got miniature spaghetti squash that does the same as this. It's a short vine, and it's very, very productive. Oh, you already have some candy roasters? Well, I'll send you these, because like I said, I don't need any more. Goodness, if each vine gives me 4 plants, I'll have 20 squashes. That's a lot. They're supposed to keep well too, though, so we'll see. We'll see how it all works out. But if they do good, I'm gonna get some more for next year. Because I really like butternut squash, but I don't have a lot of room. So I'm trying to find things that I can grow that don't take up so much room in the garden. And like I was telling Jackie this afternoon, is that this Renee's Garden Seeds tends to cater to people or gardens that don't have a lot of space. That's one of her, I guess, specialties. Squash, beans, and corn were staples of certain native North American diets. Yes, it was. Surely was. Shoot. Those are staples in my diet. What are you talking about? And I'm not even Native American that I know of. Those are three vegetables that grow very well in the United States, in North America, Canada. I bet they grow good in Mexico too. Shoot, look how many beans Mexican folks eat. That's a staple down there. It might not be green beans like we eat, but black beans and pintos, and so they can grow them. And all the corn tortillas, they grow their corn. Yeah, that is the name. Three Sisters. Ouch. The squash used as a mulch, the corn grows up tall, and the beans use the corn as a trellis. It's really a fascinating concept. And can you imagine how much food you can get out of just a small area growing it like that? Beans have a long storage life. Yeah, especially dried beans. Yeah, definitely. I don't know about snap beans. I mean, I guess if you dried them and ate them that way, yes, but I don't know about. I just freeze them. Oop. But I just grow, pole beans and stuff that you would eat as green beans. I haven't ventured. Now, I did grow some zipper peas when I lived at my other house. And I grew some Crowder peas once. Those are southern style peas. Um, but I couldn't grow enough to get, because I had such a small space that I was growing in. Um, I didn't get but maybe 2 meals out of 100 plants. Because you got to shell them and then you got to dry them, and the volume goes down tremendously after you get that shell off of them. And I also learned that I don't care for shelling peas. That is not my idea of fun. Mm-mm. That's why I don't grow English peas. I grow sugar snap peas because you can eat the whole pod and everything. I've heard of seeds being found that were really old and still able to grow when they were planted. Let me tell you something. Now, I don't know what you consider really old, but let me tell you what happened to me just this season. I have a favorite tomato. It's called Virginia Sweets. I bought some seeds for it probably 10 or 12 years ago. I grew them at my other house 2 seasons in a row, and I had a hard time growing them the second season because of our weather. So I just put the seeds away. Well, I never found them again. After that, I never looked and I never found, okay? So they didn't just turn up. I had put them somewhere where I couldn't find them. Well, lo and behold, I was going through one of my seed binders about a month and a half ago, and I found those seeds. And I put them in a paper towel, a wet paper towel, to see if they would germinate. I used 4 of them. I've got 4 more that I'm saving. But I used 4 of them, and 2 of them germinated, Dwayne. Then these seeds are over 12 years old. Well, about 12 years old. I just put them in the ground 2 days ago in my garden bed, and we're going to see if we can't grow some Virginia Sweets tomatoes. Now, my heat might kill them. The bugs might kill them. The fungus might kill them. But I'm going to grow them anyway and see how far I can get with them. The reason that I don't grow that kind of tomato anymore is because I've learned that you have to beat the heat here. And you have to beat the blight. So the earlier you get them in the ground, and the least amount of time it takes them to produce, the better off you are. So I don't grow tomatoes that vine all season long because they die before the frost. They die before August. But that's okay. If I get 1 tomato off of this vine, I will have enough seeds to last me probably the rest of my life. The rest of my gardening life. And I can even share with other folks. All I need is 1 tomato. You've had tomato plants with blight? Yeah, that ain't no fun. Planted tomatoes from seeds taken from tomatoes I bought at the grocery store. No kidding. I sure hope they tasted better than the ones you bought at the grocery store. There's a YouTuber that says that store-bought tomatoes taste like wasted money and broken dreams. But you know, after you have a homegrown tomato, well, what else do you say? You know? Yeah, isn't that crazy that they used to think they were poisonous? I mean, they are a nightshade. And parts of the nightshade plants are poisonous, but not the fruit. I mean, potatoes are nightshades. Peppers are nightshades. There's something else. Eggplant. Is there anything else? I don't know. They were heirloom tomatoes. I kept some of the seeds. Oh, okay. I feel like I have a hairball, y'all. Ah, that's frustrating. The leaves can be toxic to livestock too. See, I didn't know that. I hate having to keep one of my growing beds open for y'all. I ordered some sweet potato slips, and at the same time, I ordered some seeds from Southern Exposure Seed Company. Seed Exchange is the name of it. Um, and they're not sending out the sweet potato slips until May. And I'm a little irritated about that because honestly, I needed them a month ago so I could, root them. Because what you do is they send you the slips, and you put them in water and or dirt and you grow roots on them, right? And those roots are what makes the sweet potatoes. Well, I kind of wanted them earlier than May. Darn it. Yeah, some species of plants that can only be eaten if you cook them. They're toxic when they're raw. Huh. Well, I don't want to eat them cooked if they're toxic raw. That's just me, though. Oh, fried green tomatoes sounds so good. We have a restaurant here that makes fried green tomatoes. And then oh gosh, y'all, this is so good. They top it with a cream sauce made with crab and crawfish. It's almost like an etouffee, but it's not. Y'all, it is fantastic. They call it yum yum sauce. And they are not wrong. No, sir, they are not wrong. It's delicious. Gosh, y'all gonna look. Fling a craving on me. Oh, guess what? I'm going to get my hair cut tomorrow. It won't look much different than it does right now. But I am going to talk to her about making an appointment to get some color put on it, I think. Nothing drastic, just my normal color. Maybe a little less gray in it. I haven't colored my hair since I turned 50. That's been 9 years. So if I color it and I let it grow out, maybe by the time I let it all grow out, my hair will be 100% gray. Instead of this, it can't decide what it wants to do gray. I mean, I don't mind having gray hair. What I mind is gray hair that is misbehaving. And that's what mine does. It does not like to behave. It does not. My hair used to do whatever I told it to. But I have learned that gray hair has a mind of its own. At least mine does. And I need to figure out a way to fix it. So that's the discussion that's going to take place tomorrow at the hairdresser. I remember once looking in the mirror, I thought I had a piece of string in my hair. Happens to all of us, Dwayne. Yep. That's funny. I'll tell you what really surprised me when my hair started going gray is that each individual strand is not gray, it is white. But when you look at it all together, it looks gray. I mean, if my hair were to fall in the sink, our white sink in there, you wouldn't be able to pick it out from the sink. You know, it doesn't, there's no difference. It's kind of weird. I guess I'm just not great enough yet to see all the white in my hair. Then again, my grandma was 67 when she passed away, and she didn't have much gray hair at all. She had, funniest thing, she had real pretty auburn hair when she was young. It was a dark, dark, dark red. And as she got older, you know how men go gray in their temples? Well, hers got orange in her temples. It was the prettiest orangey red color. And I always thought that was pretty fascinating. That instead of going gray, she went orange. Now, mind you, it wasn't all over her head that it did that. It was just right at her temples. She had a few white hairs, but not very many at all. I had a maternal great-grandmother who was in her late 70s when she passed. She had no gray hair, passed away years before I was born. I was told about her. I'll be darned. I hope it is. Oh, Gulf Coast glamorous Granny, listen to you, Jane. Bless your heart. That's so sweet. Thank you. I hope it looks nice. I'm just going to get the curl back in it. I mean, the longer my hair gets, the heavier it gets, so it pulls the curl out. So I need to keep the layers in it and cut it off a little bit, and it won't be so heavy, and my curls will come back. Now, they're not like Shirley Temple curls. They're looser than that, but I kind of like curl. I like my hair when it's wavy, curly, whatever you want to call it. It didn't get this way till it started going gray. I never had a curly hair a day in my life till I started going gray. Well, that and menopause. Apparently, I didn't know this before that event happened in my life, but apparently your hair changes a lot. I guess lack of hormones or something, I don't know. Changing hormones. But my hair was definitely affected. And not for the better. I wish I could show y'all a picture of me when I was young. You would not believe it. You wouldn't believe it was me. And I used to wear my hair really short when I was young. And I really liked it that way. It was easy to take care of. Good grief. I didn't have to do anything. I just got in the shower, washed my hair, run my hands through it, told it where to sit, and it did it. I mean, I used a little bit of mousse here and there. Maybe a little spritz of hairspray now and then. if I was going somewhere nice. Then one time I had the pregnant crazies, and I shaved all my hair off. That was hormones too. I am Keymaster. I'm up late. It's Wheels. Oh, okay. By the way, changed my name to troll somebody. I sure hope you ain't trolling me. Okay, now I need the tea. Who you trolling and why? See, you opened up that can of worms, didn't you? But look, all of us folks over here diamond painting, we need to get some action too. Come on in, Wheels, and get the place excited. Make some noise. Oh my. Keymaster. What does that mean exactly? The one in charge of the keys. I need to find something else to hold this paper back because I'm just sitting here looking at my own video on my computer. Oh, you can't say the word. You are so funny, Wheels. Well, I appreciate that, my dear. I do. I appreciate it. Oh, you up to no good tonight. I remember the days. Okay. I don't want to do that row. I want to do these. Well, other than trolling, I bet you're having a fine time trolling too. Are you having a great day? So far? Y'all, I had a wonderful day. You know what I did? A guy from Kentucky that's a suspect. Oh. Oh my. Oh, that is some tea. Oh my. That's heartbreaking. I don't know if y'all follow any of the true crime channels, but I was very invested in watching the story about that crazy woman in Idaho who killed her children with her new husband, Lori Vallow. Tell me who in here has heard that story. It's been a rough week, but I didn't let it keep me down for long. Good. My late mom had blonde, brown, and red hair. Her three sisters had dark brown hair, red hair, and the other was auburn. Dad and most of his siblings had black hair. The youngest sibling was blonde. I'll be darned. My dad's family had really dark hair. And my mother, she was the only child, and her hair was just brown. You've heard her name a time or two. Listen, Wheels, they convicted her today of killing her husband too. Conspiracy to commit murder for her husband that she had before he died. I mean, she was hanging out with some other guy, but it's crazy. It's crazy. Both my mom and my dad's sis were blonde as kids. Theirs turned brown by second grade. No, it's not sad. It's sad that he's dead. It's not sad that she was convicted. I was blonde until I was 20 before it started changing. I'll be darned. I never been blonde a day in my life, but I did have a little girl. My first daughter, she was blonde until she was 10. And I mean towhead blonde. Hello, Dark Pixel fan. Boo yourself. What are you booing? Life is too good to be booing anybody. Anyhow, she had really, really blonde hair until she turned 10. None of the rest of my son, my oldest son, his hair was blonde. And it still kind of is. It's more of a dirty blonde now. And his is just as curly. That's so funny that you say he looked bald because my oldest daughter was so blonde. She looked bald. And I thought I was going to have to buy her a wig and false teeth to start kindergarten. Because she didn't get her teeth until she was like, well, she got her first tooth at 13 months old, which was weird, you know. Usually they're getting teeth at 6 months. Here, my little snaggletooth was walking around still gumming her food at 13 months old. But almost all of my kids were late getting their teeth. Now he'll be 23 the day after Mother's Day. Oh, wow. Wow. Is that your oldest or wait a minute, your oldest? Yeah, yeah. Wow. 23. My baby girl's going to be 20 in August. And y'all, it's official, I think. She says she's moving out in January. She's going out of state to go to college. Not too far out of state, just the next state over. She'll only be living about an hour away from home. But I'm excited for her. You know, it's always very exciting and terrifying when they leave the nest and they go out into the world and battle it alone. Again, exciting and terrifying. However, yes, ma'am, yarn room soon. Shh, don't make me get too excited about it, Jane Doe. Kids are awake still. At least that one is. Look, it's going to be the coolest yarn room slash YouTube studio slash crafting table room slash mom's escape that you've ever seen inside of an indoor she shed. I'm going to have my she shed in the house. I've already started looking for furniture for it. It's so exciting. I think I'm going to put some kind of like, it's, yeah, indoor she shed. I'm going to put a sign on front door that says no husbands allowed. children stay out. Well, since Poppy's he's 7 years younger than me. So by then I'll be able to say anybody under 60, stay out. Because I turned 60 in December. Put a deadbolt on the door and install. Oh, I'm going to have a mini fridge. Well, I don't need TV because I got my computer, you know? So, but I am. She's going to leave her mini fridge for me. I'm so excited. I will have to make a point of making dinner every night, though, and not staying in my room for so long that they think I've gone missing. However, I could take, I don't know, maybe 14 days of PTO say, every 6 months. I have a mini fridge with a separate freezer door I use for my drinks and snacks. Oh, you got a freezer door on yours? Maybe I need one of them for fudge sickles. Can you imagine having your own freezer with your own fudge sickles in it that the kids can't get to? Oh, oh! I could hide all my Dove chocolates in there. It'll be great. I'm trying to think about lighting and stuff like that, though, too, because it's going to be where I do my YouTube stuff as well. And I'm going to need a fairly large table. In fact, I might take this table because this is a large table. It opens up to 7 feet long and it's 39 inches across. So it would be great for, my crafting projects. You bought it 10 years ago when you were in rehab after a few surgeries. I'll be darned. I haven't. Does it lock? Does your fridge lock? I like that idea. Maybe I'll tell her to take hers with her and I'll buy myself one with a freezer door on it. Y'all, I've been dreaming of having my own room ever since my oldest daughter was a child, and she's going to be 40 right after I turn 60. Now, I did have kind of my own room in our old house because Poppy turned my walk-in closet into an office. It was 5 feet by 6 feet. I mean, it was all right for back then because I didn't do YouTube back then, and good Lord, I should have, but I didn't. You ever kick yourself for not doing YouTube when in the beginning? I know I do. I didn't even know YouTube was an option though. The brand name is Igloo. Okay. I'm gonna check one of them out. Yes, sir. I sure am. Shoot, if I was on YouTube back then when I was young and cute, ain't no telling what I could have done. Okay, is that all of them? Huh? Huh? Well, that went by a lot faster than I thought it was going to. Now, got my F's or my triangles. Let's do the triangles. Because there's not quite as many of those. Let's see, what is that? 31. That's the dots. Okay. 29 is the triangles. Okay. Yeah, I'm really excited about getting my room, but I'm also, you can't help but be concerned. These kids today have so much more to deal with, I think, than we did as young people. I think there's a lot more dangers out there now than there. I could be wrong. I mean, when I was growing up, things were somewhat dangerous. Somewhat. I guess it all depends on what you expose yourself to. And I think I've taught her to have some common sense. I don't know. We'll see, won't we? I have to trust her, though. She's a grown woman, really. I mean, she's 20. She's not really. She's a grown woman with no life experience. Let's put it that way. So the part that scares me is her being, taken advantage of or put in a bad situation. That's all. I know you are, Jane Doe. I think you might be more excited than me. Maybe. Maybe not, though. I think I'm down here in the dark where you can't see what I'm doing. Yeah, I think I am. How's that? Can you see that? Okay. It has. It has been a very long time dream of mine, Jane Doe, and I appreciate that you're rooting for me. I really do. It's been a long time a coming. Now watch her change her mind and rip me off. Watch her change her mind. Mama, I'm not ready to leave yet. That's what happened when she graduated high school. She had a scholarship, a to be in the band at one of the colleges here, an hour up the street in our state. It was a $40,000 a year scholarship, y'all. And she didn't go because she says she ain't ready to leave home. She was terrified to leave home. So she started the community college, and she's still there. But she'll transfer to the university in January. So it was 2 additional years. And look, y'all, when she graduated high school, I was completely ready to let her go, to the college. I was concerned, but I knew that there's certain rules at this particular college. It's a Christian college. So, you can't just do anything at a Christian college. And I thought that she would be safer there and blah, blah, blah. Well, she didn't. But the good thing about her going over to this college that she's decided to go to, university, whatever, is that it is close to home still. And if she needs us, we can be there really quick. If her car breaks down, her daddy can get there. If she has to go to the doctor, we can go get her and take her to the doctor. Or she can just come home, spend the night, go to the doctor the next morning. She said she was going to keep the doctors that she has here. Because number one, it took us too long to find them. And number two, they know her and her case. Hey, Denise, how are you? You going back to bed? Marcel, how are you? Wait a minute, where is she? Marcel, did you come in here? Got up to go to the bathroom and peeked in and found you. It's okay, Jane. No, don't worry about it. That's Denise. Marcel is a little fish in the kitchen. I was sitting there looking. I'm like, I think she thinks that Bone Tired is Marcel. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Good Lord, girl, you can't keep them all straight. How many channels do you moderate? Oops. Yeah, I know you do lots. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, I'm back. I try to hurry up and not leave y'all hanging when I have to make a run like that. I wish I had some kind of little intermission video or something I could put on. I'm going to have to look into that. All right, good night, Denise. Take care. Sleep well, my dear. Okay, that one. And that one. Huh. Okay. Here we go. Jane Doe, do you work anywhere besides YouTube? Am I still planning on getting Nightbot? I would like to investigate it. I really would. I don't know what all Nightbot does, and I would like to learn about that before I make a decision. Um, but I really haven't had a lot of time to do that lately, so I don't know when I'm going to get around to it. With my technological handicap, I, technology infuriates me. It is not something that comes easy to me, and I have a real tendency to avoid it. I have learned how to YouTube with not too many problems. It's got some features that everyone seems to enjoy. The part that I like is the weather part, and where you can drop your link if you want to. I like that. Say a word and it, or type a word in and it drops your link. I like that. Um, I like the little forest animal thing that Jackie's got because that just tickles me to death. Um, but again, that I don't know. I've only seen that on Jackie's channel. I've never seen that on other folks' channels. But maybe I hang out with some technologically challenged people who don't know how to do it too. Are there any other features that I should know about that might be helpful? I mean, I know it can only do what you tell it to do, or I guess program it to do. Is that the right terminology? think after this color, I'm going to call it a night. So probably 15 minutes or so, maybe. Maybe 10. Just giving y'all a heads up. I guess I ought to make sure I'm good and rested for my hair appointment. Well, I don't know. I got 10 folks watching right now. That's all right. Maybe I won't. Maybe we'll see what happens. I know this is an odd angle for me to be at because it's difficult to see what I'm doing when my hand is in that position. Because it kind of covers up the whole area that I'm working on. I'm hoping that by Monday that I'm going to be prepared to go back to doing my Monday night crochet live streams. I was going to do it this week, but my son got sick and I was busy taking care of him all night long. He was really, really sick Monday night. So, I will probably, I've been trying to start my live streams on Mondays at about 9 o'clock. So I think I'm going to have to make them closer to 9:30. Just because of family schedules and stuff. But I think that'll be okay. And that's Central Time. Thank you, Jane. I do too. It seems like it's been a very slow recovery with the Tamiflu. Now, had he not had Tamiflu, I would have expected him to be down and out for a week. But he did have Tamiflu, and I'm thinking maybe we caught it too late. I mean, it was within 24 hours, but, and maybe it was a different type of, he had influenza B, and I don't know if that's less, what do you call it? If Tamiflu is less effective on that one than the other one, or the other ones, I don't know. I just don't know. But it does seem like it's been a long, drawn out process with this boy. Now, I will say he's not running a fever anymore that I'm aware of. He's taken Tylenol cold and flu for the symptoms, like the congestion and the sore throat and all. But he hasn't complained of a fever since yesterday. So maybe he is on the mend. It just seems like it's taken a while. Because he started getting sick Sunday night. Around bedtime, actually. I think this is the first time he's ever had the flu, too. What I should have done was loaded him up on a whole bunch of stuff to boost his immune system before he left on that trip. And I have learned my lesson on that front. But I didn't expect him to go out of town and come home sick. I just didn't. Now, mind you, it was about a week out. Because they got home last Monday. Well, yeah, Monday before last. And he got sick on Sunday. So that's 6 whole days. Ooh. That's not it. Okay. F is number 6. Yeah, I think that's going to be the end of the line here. I'm going to put this away for tonight and start on it again in the morning. I've got to make some Tanner arms tomorrow and his little tail. And I'll be on with Jackie at Handcrafted by Jackie tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 9 Central. And I thank all of you for coming and hanging out with me for a bit. I will see you again very soon. Y'all have a great night. Good night.